You were born into a system that taught you everything, except how it actually works. A system that rewards obedience, punishes awareness, and disguises control as freedom. They call it the economy. But what it really is a matrix, not digital, psychological, not powered by machines, powered by belief. A network of habits, illusions, and incentives designed to keep you productive, distracted, and dependent. And like all powerful systems, it works best when you never question it. Everyone's chasing money, but almost no one's asking who designed the chase, because the moment you stop running, you start to see the invisible architecture around you, and that's when the matrix starts to glitch. Let's begin with the first illusion. Money equals freedom. That's the biggest lie ever sold. Money is not freedom, it's a symbol of value, controlled by those who define value. You can earn it, save it, invest it, but if you never understand who controls its meaning, you'll always be playing their game. The economic matrix doesn't need chains, it needs participation. As long as you keep working, consuming, and chasing, you're feeding the system that owns you. It's not about politics, it's about psychology. They don't need to take your power, they just need you to believe you don't have any. If this already feels uncomfortable, good. Pause for a moment and follow rich logic, because escaping the matrix doesn't start with rebellion. It starts with awareness. Here's how it works. From the moment you're born, you're trained to equate success with compliance. You go to school, where you learn not how to think, but how to remember. You're graded not on creativity, but on obedience. You're told that good grades lead to good jobs lead to money, and money leads to happiness. But here's the problem. The system never defines enough. So you keep chasing a finish line that keeps moving, and the matrix stays alive through your exhaustion. The matrix isn't an evil group in a dark room. It's the collective mindset of billions of people trapped in the same illusion. It doesn't need dictators, it has habits. The matrix runs on repetition, work, spend, sleep, repeat. The more predictable you are, the more profitable you become. That's why modern life is designed to keep you distracted. Social media, entertainment, consumption, these aren't coincidences, they're sedatives. Because the more distracted you are, the less you notice the walls of your own cage. The matrix hides control inside choice. You think you're free because you can choose your job, your clothes, your phone, your brand of toothpaste. But try choosing not to participate. Try questioning the system that defines value. Try building something that doesn't depend on it. That's when you see how real the control is. Freedom in the matrix is the freedom to decorate your cell. The second illusion. Debt equals opportunity. You're told to go to college, even if it means lifelong debt. You're told to buy a house, even if it chains you to 30 years of payments. You're told to use credit, even if it trades your future for convenience. Debt is the matrix's most elegant invention. It gives you the illusion of ownership while keeping you enslaved to repayment. Because when you owe money, you owe obedience. But here's the deeper truth. The matrix doesn't control you through money. It controls you through emotion. It uses fear to keep you dependent and comfort to keep you asleep. Fear of loss, fear of judgment, fear of being left behind, comfort of routine, comfort of entertainment, comfort of good enough. That's how the economic matrix wins, not by force, but by sedation. If this is starting to shift your perspective, like this video and subscribe to Rich Logic. Because every truth you learn here weakens the code of the system. Let's talk about the third illusion. Productivity equals purpose. You've been taught that your worth is measured by output, that being busy means being valuable. But busyness is the matrix's favorite drug. It keeps you too distracted to think, too exhausted to question, too busy to evolve. Because the moment you stop, you might start asking, why? Why are we taught to work more than we think? Why is rest seen as laziness, but exhaustion seen as pride? Because the system profits from burnout. Burnout creates consumption. Consumption creates dependence. The matrix doesn't fear rebellion, it fears reflection. But here's the glitch they didn't anticipate. The internet broke their monopoly on information. For the first time in history, knowledge isn't controlled by institutions. It's decentralized. You can now learn anything, build anything, connect with anyone, instantly. That's why we're seeing the rise of conscious wealth. People who understand that the new currency isn't money, it's awareness. Because once you see how the system works, you can play by new rules. Freedom doesn't mean leaving the matrix. It means seeing the matrix clearly. It means using the same tools that were meant to enslave you to build your own sovereignty. Technology, capital, information, they're not evil, they're neutral. The difference lies in who controls them. You can be consumed by them or you can command them. The matrix depends on your ignorance. It dies when you become conscious. The first step to escaping the economic matrix isn't quitting your job or selling everything. It's waking up. Waking up to how your beliefs were designed. Waking up to how your fears were installed. Waking up to how your habits keep you enslaved. Because until you understand your programming, you'll keep mistaking obedience for order. The second step is ownership. Not just financial ownership, psychological ownership. You must own your attention. Because attention is the new currency. Every scroll, every ad, every notification is the matrix siphoning your awareness to feed its algorithms. The less attention you own, the more control you lose. That's why billionaires buy your focus. That's why corporations design addiction. That's why distraction is the new slavery. If you can control your attention, you can control your economy. The third step is creation. The matrix was built to make you a consumer. You escape it by becoming a creator. Creation means contribution, adding value instead of extracting it. You don't need to create an empire, you just need to create something original. An idea, a product, a message. Anything that exists because you exist. The moment you create, you stop being replaceable. Because creation is the one thing the matrix can't automate. The fourth step is detachment. You can't escape a system you're emotionally invested in. The matrix thrives on identity. Political, financial, cultural, even emotional. It wants you to take sides, to argue endlessly, to identify with things that don't belong to you. Because the more divided you are, the easier you are to control. You escape the matrix by stepping above the noise, not fighting inside it. And finally, the fifth step, reconnection. Freedom doesn't mean isolation, it means alignment, connecting with people who see through the illusion. Because one conscious mind can start a spark, but a network of them becomes a revolution. The new economy isn't built on labor, it's built on awareness. Communities that share truth become the new currencies of power. That's why awakening is contagious. Because once you see, you can't unsee. The matrix was never physical, it was psychological. It lived in your beliefs, your fears, your definitions of success. And every time you questioned one of them, a piece of it broke. Freedom doesn't begin when you have money. It begins when money stops having you. Because true wealth isn't how much you own, it's how little can own you. Escaping the matrix doesn't mean rejecting the world. It means mastering it consciously, using systems without becoming their servant, earning money without becoming its slave, building wealth without losing your soul. The matrix isn't something to fight, it's something to outgrow, and once you rise above it, you'll see that the real prison was never made of walls. It was made of beliefs. So if you've made it this far, remember this. You don't escape the economic matrix by running from it. You escape it by waking up inside it and realizing you were never plugged in. You were persuaded, and now you're finally remembering who you are. Not a worker, not a consumer, but a creator of worlds.